All right, let's get right into it. When most of us hear Feng Shui, our minds probably jump to moving furniture around, maybe some energy charts. But what we're going to talk about today is something way more fundamental and honestly pretty surprising.
You know, when you explore a lot of Eastern philosophies, the journey is almost always inward, isn't it? It's all about the mind, meditation, your internal world. And that's a great, familiar place for us to start.
But what if I told you that for the ancient art of shaping the space around you, the number one tool is in your mind? It's not some mystical compass either. What if the most powerful instrument you have has been staring you in the face this whole time?
Yep, your eyes. That's the huge idea we're digging into. That the real core of authentic Feng Shui isn't about what you think, it's about what you can literally see.
So with that idea planted, let's really get into Feng Shui's true focus. We're going to have to sweep away some modern myths to see what this practice has always been about, and that is observation. See, at its absolute roots, Feng Shui isn't some abstract theory. It's actually described as an empirical science. All that means is that it's based on real-world experience and observation, specifically looking at the actual tangible shapes of the land all around you. And here's what's so fascinating. This wasn't just some side note. It was built right into the culture. The skill of a traditional Feng Shui master was actually judged by their level of vision. I mean, they were literally ranked on a scale, starting from what they called mortal eyes, all the way up to divine eyes. That's how crucial the simple act of seeing was. This whole idea of masters having divine eyes, it really brings us to our next point. Feng Shui was, first and foremost, an ancient science of seeing. It was about learning to read the language of the land, a language written in mountains, rivers, and the shapes of the earth.
Okay, but here's where things get a little muddy in the modern world. There's been this growing focus on using tools, which has created a kind of conflict between that traditional vision-first approach and a lot of what people practice today.
So, you've basically got these two camps. On one side, you have the traditional form school. It's all about visually reading the landscape. And on the other side, you've got some modern practices that rely almost completely on things like dowsing rods, sometimes even saying the visual part doesn't matter as much.
But what if these two ideas aren't really opposites? What if there's a fascinating scientific reason that actually connects this ancient wisdom with the subconscious power of our own sight?
Well, modern science has this thing called the ideomotor effect. It sounds a little complex, but the idea is actually pretty simple. It's when our thoughts, or more importantly, our perceptions, cause our muscles to make tiny movements without us even being aware of it. And this is the leading scientific explanation for how dowsing works. And this is where it all clicks. It's not magic. First, your eyes are taking in tons of information about the land around you. Then, your brain subconsciously processes all that visual data. This analysis then sends tiny signals to the muscles in your hands, which, you guessed it, makes the dowsing rod move. So you see, even when you're using a tool, your eyes are still the ones doing the real work.
Okay, so that's the science behind it. But how does this all translate into actually designing a space? Let's talk about the practical art of shaping your environment using nothing more than your own vision.
There's this foundational principle in Feng Shui design called the rule of seeing and not seeing, and it is beautifully simple. It just says that whatever you can see from your most used spots, like your desk, your bed, your front door, that view directly impacts your energy and well-being.
And here's how you actually apply it. Let's say the view outside your window is not great. Maybe it's harsh or just unsettling. Well, you'd use the art of not seeing. You'd strategically plant some trees or put up a screen to block that negative visual. But on the flip side, if you have a gorgeous view, you use the art of borrowed scenery. You'd use a big window or an open doorway to frame that landscape and actively invite all that good stuff right into your home. It's all about intentionally curating what your eyes take in.
This all brings us to a really powerful final point, the incredible power of your own gaze. Let's look at just how deeply this idea was valued in the ancient world.
There's this old Eastern proverb that just nails it. It says, if the human body is worth 1,000 coins, the eyes are worth 900. And they weren't just being poetic. This was a very real statement about value and importance.
I mean, look at this chart. It really puts that idea into perspective, right? That's an unbelievable ratio. They believe that a full 90% of our vitality, our very ability to navigate and understand the world, came directly through our sight.
And the classic texts totally back this up.
The Qing Wujing, which is one of the most important books on Feng Shui, says it so clearly. A perfect landscape is basically meaningless if there's no one there to see it. It's our perception that actually brings a space to life.
And another one of the great texts, the Book of Burial, adds another layer. It says that real skill isn't just about finding the good spots. It's about having a sharp enough eye to spot the flaws, so that we can then actively work to heal and improve our surroundings.
So really the big takeaway is this. From ancient masters reading the land, to modern science explaining how our subconscious works, the journey to finding or creating your perfect space, it always begins and ends with your eyes. So, I'll leave you with a question to think about. It's not just about what's physically there in your space, but about what you choose to focus on, what you choose to frame, and what you choose to screen out. Now that you know the hidden power you have, what will you choose to see?